All right, today we're talking about geometric series and sequences. So first thing up, geometric means we have a multiplicative pattern, which means to get from one number to the next, we're going to be multiplying by the same number, referred to as the common ratio. First up, sequence. Now if you see commas, it's a sequence. You're welcome. Easy way to remember it. If there's a sum, it's a series. So there's easy ways to remember it. C, comma, sequence. Now, this is the type of problem you might be able to see today. The formula given to you, a sub n, which represents our desired term, is found by taking a sub 1, first term, times r, which is our common ratio, to the n minus 1, n being the number of terms we're looking for, okay? So if they ask, find the seventh term of this sequence, a couple things I need. Before I can plug in, I need to know a sub 1, I need to know r, and I need to know n. Well, they told me n. They said, hey, we want the seventh term. All right, you got it. N is 7. A sub 1, first term. As long as you read left to right, you should have this. It's 81. Now, common ratio. You might have to do a little bit of math here. Crazy, I know. If you're thinking, ooh, divide by 3. Ooh, you're wrong. Because I stated earlier, it's a multiplicative pattern, so you can't describe it using division. The multiplicative pattern here is multiplying by 1/3, and that's what you would put down for your r. Oh, yes, we got everything we need now, so let's just plug in and get it. So they want the seventh term. That is a sub 7. A sub 1 being 81 times my ratio, which is 1/3, to the 7 minus 1. Can we do mental math? Okay, let's put a 6. If you don't know how I got that, I don't know what to tell you. So, from here I do order of operations. Exponents coming first. So I take 1/3 to the 6th power. Now if you're using a calculator, that is a really, really big decimal. Okay, and that's all right. That's perfectly fine. But one thing to keep in mind, little trick here. If you didn't have a calculator, I know a lot of you are like, I don't have a calculator, I can't do it. Well, you're lazy. Because 81 is really just 3 to the 4th power. Crazy, I know. And we're multiplying this by 1/3 to the 6th. I'm going to write it a different way. 1/3 to the 6th. But I didn't know the same thing. 1/3 times itself 6 times is 1 to the 6th, which is 1, and 3 to the 6th, which is, I'm going to keep it as 3 to the 6th. Cancel. You'll end up with 1/9. Now, if you just went straight decimal and you just use your calculator, that is still okay. You should get approximately 0.11. So whether you use no calculator or use a calculator, you should come up with the same answer, okay? That is a sequence because you see commas. Marker drop. Next, series. Now, a series is the same list, but instead of just listing them, we're actually adding them together. And so it requires a different formula. So here's the information of a problem that they're going to ask. Find me the sum of a series if this is the given information. Now let's first understand what they gave us. A sub 1 is the first term. R is my common ratio. And if they say n equals 8, that means they want the sum of the first 8 terms. Plug and chug. Here we go. S sub 8, because that's how many terms I'm going deep. A sub 1 is 3. I'm subtracting 3 times my ratio of -2 to the n, which is 8, all over 1 minus my rate again. Now careful here. Order of operations, you gotta slow down. Don't skip steps. I know, I did it in my head. Well, crack it open and show it to me. I need to see your work. Don't really do that, it'd get violent. So, when I'm looking at this, I have to do exponents first. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, okay? I have to do -2 to the 8th first. So I'm going to go 3 minus 3 times 256. All right, that's just -2 to the 8th. If you'll notice, it started off negative, but we raise it to the 8th power. That's 8 negatives. They pair up and make it positive. On the bottom, 1 minus negative, a plus a positive, we get a 3. All right, still doing order of operations, which means we have to do the multiplication first. We're going to end up with, if I take 3 minus 3 times 256, we're going to arrive at a negative 765. And now you just reduce. So the sum of my first 8 terms in my series is negative 255. Done. Once you have your 3 pieces of information, plug it in, use order of operations, shadaisy, you're done. All right, sigma notation. This represents a series. Anytime there's sigma notation, it is representing a series, which means I need the same 3 pieces of information. I still need A sub 1, I need R, and I need N. If I have those 3, plug in, I'm done. But it looks weird, right? I mean, it's just ugly. Don't judge. So here's what we're going to do first. My rate. If you'll notice, I have an R right here in my sequenced formula. That is the same position as R in my sigma notation. So by looking, I know R is 3. N. Okay, this is the part where you got to be careful. Many of you have screwed this up. N is the number of terms in your sequence. So if you'll look, we're starting at 4 and going to 11. So everybody says, oh, we're evaluating 7 terms. Wronga. You're not. Careful, watch this. Ready? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 8 numbers in that term. That's why we gave you the formula that n is top minus bottom plus 1. Top minus bottom plus 1, which we would come up with 8 as well. All right, a sub 1, careful. A sub 1's my first term. Well, where are you first starting? You're starting where k is 4. So to find a sub 1, I have to take my function here and plug 4 in. With me? 4 minus 1 will give me 3. So I'm going to get 2/3 times 27. Cancel, cancel. My a sub 1 is 18. Okay. That was a decent amount of work. You haven't even started. In your face. Now that we have my 3 pieces, remember what this really represents. A series. So now let's plug and chug. Here we go. I start with S sub 8. Why 8? Because that's the first 8 numbers in my series that I'm representing. Equals a sub 1 minus a sub 1 times my rate to the n power. Notice this one is not n minus 1. This is just to the straight n. All over 1 minus my rate. Simple plug and chug. Now, I'm going to take 3 to the 8th and multiply it by 18. We're just going to go straight to that big number. We'll get an 18 minus 118,098. Roughly my salary. That was the biggest joke I've ever told. On the bottom, we get a -2. Now recognize something. When we subtract up top, we'll get a negative, and the bottom's a negative. Give me the positive. Final answer. The sum of the first 8 terms is 59,040, which is still larger than my salary. Okay, so all depression aside, quick rundown of how to run through geometric series and sequences, the formulas you use, putting them together to solve 3 problems. Get it?